Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. I've moderated quite a few meetings and organized quite a few meetings, and of all the meetings in my life that I can think of, I think this may be possibly one of the more consequential. So what we're going to be able to create today together. So I thought what we would do is start with our folks online and have them introduce themselves. And this is what I'd like you to do. Just, your name, what do you do? And then what are you here for? What do you want out of this meeting? And then some kind of a vision of what you'd like to create. What is your picture of what we might be able to create out of this, in short? But, take your time, but short. Okay, so let's jump on, and I will sit down here, and we can just go around. We'll start on the screen, and then we'll start from this side of the room and go forward. And I'll introduce myself first, and our facilitator. I'm Bob Ferguson, and I'm here by the authority vested in me by me. Had a thought 3 years ago, what we really need to do is create a food web, because I read Ken Meter's book, and I said, that's what we want to do. Barb here has been working away, and we've been working away at the Sustainable Living Coalition, and there's been a lot of activity in this county over time. So I said, why not expand the idea out? Why not expand it to a Southeast Iowa regional effort? And so that's why I'm here. I want to see this thing happen. So, and then Ron, I'll have him introduce himself more thoroughly later on. I know a lot about this guy, but like 3 weeks ago, I was at a conference in Chicago, and I heard Ron start to talk, and I said, that's the guy I'm going to append myself to for 2 days. And then I said, you wouldn't be interested in coming to Fairfield, would you? No. To facilitate in December, would you? And he said December. He said, is that December next year? No, I said December this year. He goes, well, yeah. So he's here, and we're going to hear a lot about from him. But thank you. How about a round of applause for I'll have him, he's going to introduce him especially because he came over with Ron. He and Ron are partners in a farm business, and we'll let them explain more. So anyway, so let's start. Hey, Savannah. Let's start on screen, and I will just call on people so no one has to worry about when they're going to talk. So Teresa Greenfield, why don't we start with you?
Good morning, everyone. And Bob, thank you for the invitation to join today. I'm Teresa Greenfield. I am currently the State Director for USDA Rural Development. And I'm here on behalf of USDA. One of the things I'm really proud of as part of this administration's work has been our investment into local food supply chains, local food systems. And on a personal level, I grew up on a really small farm where my 86-year-old dad still lives. And he lives in an area that's a food desert. And so I'm personally and professionally very interested in how we can build this type of a food aggregation system. And I'm hoping that the success here in the Fairfield and Southeast Iowa area can be a template that I and others can take not only across Iowa, but across the country to really increase access to local, healthy, and nutritious food. So I'll put my contact information in the chat, and I'm looking forward to a great day. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Teresa. So Savannah, we'll go in order on the screen. Savannah, how about you next?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. I'm Savannah Lahr. I'm the Business Viability Manager at Practical Farmers of Iowa. Sorry, I just got my hair cut, so I'm doing that a lot. Thank you. I guess I'm here just to kind of make sure that that PFI stays in the loop on what's going on, because we have a lot of farmers that are interested in being a part of this food web, and yeah. So is that good? Is that enough?
That's good. And you moved all the way from North Carolina to come and be with us here in PFI, right?
Yep. Yeah, excited to be here and in the snow. It's great.
Okay, so John DeTay. See if he is there. There you are.
I got my hair cut too, so I'm doing all right.
I don't know, you should talk to that barber. You're a little enthusiastic there.
Hi, Bob and everyone. Thanks for convening the call and the meeting. I'm also really excited about what we're doing there. I live in Davenport. Just got back from DC last night and was too lazy to get in the car and drive down. I work at Hy-Vee. I'm a full-time employee at Hy-Vee here in Davenport, but I'm joining the call today because I inherited my great grandparents' farm just off the Salina Road in Fairfield, and been working with my farmer who's been farming the land for us for 50 years, trying to gradually transition the farm into something other than corn and soybeans. So I watched the video between Ron and Bob last night and got really excited and looking forward to learning and listening and moving forward. Thanks again.
Thank you, John. Gil Gillespie.
Hi, Gil Gillespie. I live in Lake, Southwest Iowa, a microscale farm operator and retired sociologist with an interest in agriculture, food systems, and community development. And I think this is an opportunity for developing an important part of a more localized food system. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens today.
And I'll brag on you a little bit, Gil. Gil is one of the writers in the Farm and Food Priority Group for the Iowa Food Coalition, Setting the Table for All Iowans Plant. And I had the privilege of working with Gil on that. And I can assure you, on a lot of these things, he's forgotten more than a lot of people will ever know. So it's really great having you as a resource, Gil. Thank you for being here. And thank you all.
Can you turn on closed caption?
Turn on, I bet I can, okay, yeah,
Show captions.
okay, show captions, good. All right. Okay, great, okay, so, Troy, you're the furthest east.
Stuff my mouth.
Yeah.
Troy Van Beek, the CEO and co-founder of Ideal Energy. We're a solar design and installation firm that we're founded right here in Fairfield. I'm co-founded with my wife, my better half, so just so you know. We've been in business for 15 years, been putting solar up throughout the nation really, but mainly right here in the Midwest. We do commercial, we don't do residential, we do utility scale and government contracting. And yeah, we've got a satellite office in Des Moines as well, co-located with Shive Hattery, one of the large engineering firms here in the nation. And my interest in this is community support. And also, we have a lot of square footage. I own both this building and the one across the street. So I've got probably 80,000 square feet of space here. And I just, Bob knows that, I bought this building and it's available. So if there are needs like that, then, we can do a little walk around and show you what we have. There's a lot of square footage here. So I want to be of service to the community.
And I think we ought to give Troy a round of applause. Yeah. Okay, we got the buyer's table here. Who wants to go?
Kyle Obringer, I'm with Hy-Vee out of the corporate office, and within my role, I'm involved with food protection, compliance, and really when it comes to Hy-Vee in the supply chain side of things is kind of where I focus a lot of my efforts. But as a company, we have a mission to make lives easier, healthier, and happier, right? So this just really aligns with that mission. And I think we have hopefully a reputation that all of you know is really involved with community and local. So with our Hy-Vee homegrown program, you know, I was able to be a part of the meeting that we had here last in Southeast Iowa, and it was you know, it's a neat opportunity that I think Hy-Vee needs to somehow be a part of. So with that, you know, excited to hear what potential you know, opportunities are out there today that we can discover. So.
Brent Addison, I'm Director of Sales and Marketing for Capital City Fruit in Des Moines, been there 9 years. We are a wholesaler repacker and also are heavy into local grown. We have about 45 to 50 local family farms that we partner with throughout the Midwest and the 5 states touching the state of Iowa. And we supply customers like Hy-Vee. We deliver direct to the warehouse. We don't deliver to the stores directly. It's all to their distribution center in Sheridan, and we're there several days a week. We helped found the homegrown program several years ago with an individual that's now retired at Hy-Vee, Mike Orff. And so we're very familiar with working with smaller family farms from an acre to, you know, 600 acres we have. So our interest is in partnering with the community primarily. There's another individual, John, who was supposed to be here, who was at the last meeting that if you were there. He has some medical issues with his mom, and then he turned up sick, and I didn't want to be in a car with him today. So he's not coming. But we want to see how we can help. We invited Bob and his team out, and they came to tour our facility to see the kind of scale we're talking about. There seems to be a possibility for some interest there, and that's why I'm here today, to see how we can help. So.
Thank you, Brent. Okay, Carol?
Yeah, I'm Carol Reichardt. I'm from Des Moines. I'm a farmland owner with my sisters. We own 6 farms that I help manage from northern Missouri to northern Iowa. And and we've transitioned a lot of them, one to full organic, and some of the pasture farms to more regenerative practices with our tenants. And we have one farm right in the metro area that's being developed commercially. And my sister and I weren't real excited about that, but we were like, what can we do differently? Is there a way to do, we coined it a commercial conservation community. So that's how I first met Bob, was at a charrette with RDG years ago as we were visioning. It's also how I met Ron Dutch when he was working with another group that we had hired to help us with visioning implementation. Then I hired Ron and have worked with Ron for several years on our other farms. Realized again that both of these men were super brilliant and great to work with. So we've had a really great success with the work with Ron, and you guys are going to be excited to work with them as well. Also on the board of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, we have a strong connection with Fairfield. I think our first trail program was here in Fairfield. Ed Malloy used to be on our advisory council, so we have board meetings down here. So it's a great community. More recently, I'm on a new not-for-profit that started 12 months ago, formally, and I got involved about 8 months ago, and it's called Triada, and it's kind of the confluence of regenerative, organic agriculture, both data collection, testing, implementation, training, education, and then there's the health component of Triada. We are doing health studies, just finished actually yesterday, our first health study with an autistic population in conjunction with Purdue. So we're excited to do data analytics on that as it relates to eating a clean food, organic, clean water, and multivitamin, how it affects the physiology. I am not a scientist, I do not in charge of that, but what these guys are saying, I'm like, what, are you kidding me? It's like mRNA level, and it's labs across the country, and it's been, hopefully that will be a model that we can do with other diseases and health conditions as well. The third component of Triada is trying to source and possibly distribute with a couple other partners and other people clean, healthy food, and working with farmers. And so I'm super excited about local food systems and what you guys are doing down here. And hopefully it will be a model that can be replicated around the state and beyond. So I was the one that got to met Bob and Ron, so that's
Yeah,
that's my biggest.
I was gonna say.
my biggest-
We talk fairly frequently with Carol, and she said, we're gonna be doing this meeting with Triata in Chicago. Do you think you could come? And I go, I'll clear my book. And so it was only because of her that we got Ron and we got everyone together. So again, another round of applause for Carol. Thank you.
My biggest gift is just that I know really smart people. I just have to do it. It's not me.
Okay, Dennis?
Pretty tough act to follow. My name's Dennis McLaughlin. I farm in northeast Madison County. And so I was up early doing cattle chores. Just wanted to be here to be supportive. Part of our farm is being converted to conservation easement with INHF. So that's been pretty exciting. I've followed the regenerative progress through the years. And that just seems like a way that we need to move our soil and our health and our well-being. So, I think enough said. I just want to be here to be supportive in any way I can.
And there's some kind of relationship between you and Kyle?
Yeah, they tell me he's my son.
Great. How about back to Chris?
My name is Chris Johnson. I'm a Fairfield native. I have been involved in regenerative and organic agriculture for about 10 years. 7 of those was at MIU teaching organic and regenerative agriculture. I see 1 or 2 students in the room actually. And now I am on the family farm where I practice regenerative agriculture, doing adaptive multi-paddock grazing, rotational grazing with cattle and sheep.
Good. Thank you for being here, Chris. And
Faith Reeves, I'm the Sustainability Coordinator in Fairfield, and I have a deep interest in seeing Jefferson County produce more of its own food, supporting a more substantial local food system here in Jefferson County. And we have a wonderful food waste subcommittee on our Resilient Action Committee that we talk about this pretty in depth every 2 weeks. How do we do that? And then also personally, I am a soil nerd. I love soil related topics. I'm really interested in increasing the quality of the food supply overall, especially here in Fairfield. I'd love for Fairfield to be known for the quality of food we produce. I'd like that to be part of our brand.
yeah.
My name is Penny Vodzik. I'm Regional Director for Senator Grassley. I'm based in Davenport and cover all of Southeast Iowa. And I am just here to educate and learn from all of you. And I just think it's very, very exciting. I did grow up on a farm, still live on a farm. And my son is taking over running my dad's farm. So I've been involved with farming my whole life. So very anxious to get to know everybody and educate myself.
Come on, we'll give everyone a round. So, yeah.
I'm Gabrielle Hathaway. I'm a career farmer. I farm in multiple states and worked a lot with marketing as well. I'm not connected to any particular farm right now, but I'm just happy to be here.
Great, hey, great. Okay, Bob Riley.
I'm Bob Riley. I'm here because Bob told me to be here. I have a long history with him and a little bit with Fairfield, but primarily with various nonprofits having to do with conservation, whether it be the Nature Conservancy or White Rock Conservancy out in Coon Rapids. And I've been a fan of regenerative ag for 15 years or so, and tried to put together the cultivation or the regenerative corridor down here a few years ago, but got interrupted with some floods and fires and other things like that.
Pestilence, right.
Yeah, pestilence. So I'm just here to listen.
You run Feed Energy. He's a very adept business guy. So, good.
Mary Ellen Miller, I'm wearing several hats today. So I'm here primarily as president of the Iowa Nut Growers Association. We recently got a $70,000 grant, USDA grant, to buy a cracker and a laser sorter for hard nuts, and we're kind of shopping for a location for that. Quite frankly, I'm caught off my guard because when my colleague asked to apply for the grant, I just said, okay, thinking we wouldn't get it. So now I'm scrambling, so I need financing, okay. But this seemed like maybe a potential opportunity, but I also wear a hat as a board director for the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust. And so I think we're gonna have some of those folks join us. I am a silt farmer. I'm the first farm that silt got in southern Wayne County. I'm a transplant, but a lifelong farmer, farmland owner, and I love that phrase, soil nerd. I'm going to adopt that.
That's great, Marianne. Thank you very much for being, and Brianna. Brianna is here, so why don't we go over to you on the screen?
There's Brianna.
Oh, what are we doing? Introductions here?
Yeah, we just get, who are you? What do you do? Why are you here? And what do you see? What's the vision for what you think we might be able to create?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for including me. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person today, and then my Zoom made me update this morning, but I'm happy that I finally made it on, and that we have some SILT people there in person representing. I'm Brianna Horsey. I'm the director of the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust. And Bob has included me in discussions of a regional food web vision since day one of coming on to SILT. And, you know, I was really inspired with that vision. And the reality of my last 2 years with SILT is that we can't be successful unless we create these regional food systems to support locally grown food where we live and work and where we're preserving farmland at. And so my participation in this is thinking about future generations 100 years from now and the stability of our food systems and how, SILT can take part in strategically protecting land in regions where we do have that support to support our farmers, because food farming is not easy, and without that support they can't be successful, and we're reliant on a system that doesn't work for us. So that is why I'm here.
Brianna, thank you very much for being here. Okay, on to Tony.
Tony Thompson. I wear a lot of different hats. I'm taking vacation from one of those hats, which is as a data scientist by day with Growers Edge. But as I put that lens on, we do crop warranties, and so we try to help growers adopt new practices and use new products. And so maybe there's potential down the road for that. My main role, well, another role is we operate Prudent Produce off of my family's Century Farm in northeast Polk County, so between Des Moines and Ames. And there we buy local food from about 100 producers and distribute that to 250 households in central and north central Iowa. We do that every week year round, so we're kind of the micro level in terms of, you heard earlier about working with farms from 1 to 600 acres. I work with farms from a quarter up to maybe 60 or 100 acres. And so we're really the micro, like the smallest viable level, I think. And then ran a CSA on that farm, on our farm 10 years ago. So had my hands in the soil a bit more and very much interested and supportive of the regen approach.
Great. Tommy, thank you for being here. Tommy.
I'm Tommy Hexter. I'm here for two separate reasons. The first is I'm the policy specialist with the Iowa Farmers Union. The Farmers Union is a group of about 1,100 farmers here in the state of Iowa, small to mid-sized farms. And working in policy with them is all about trying to find ways to make their farms more viable through policy. I think we're at a really exciting time right now nationally in the political scene with Make America Healthy Again, and also a lot of people coming together around the ideas that good food, clean water are important things for the future of our country. And so most of our farmers in the Farmers Union are looking for ways to transition their farms and land away from commodity production into other avenues of production. And so trying to find viable models for that for farmers of all scales The other reason I'm here is I run a food hub similar to Tony's. It's called Grinnell Farm to Table. And so again, working with those smaller end growers and trying to find ways, what's the next level up for farmers. So really glad to be here, and thanks, Bob, for hosting.
Well, thank you, Tommy, for being here. Jonathan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jonathan Lawrence. I work with Iowa Farmers Union as well as the Education Program Director. And I also work with E Greater Des Moines as a value chain coordinator. So it's, really all about connecting farmers to different market opportunities and, just trying to be that connector, in the food system. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And I dragged Jonathan into this world.
Good for you, Barb.
Barbara Stone, Southeast Iowa Food Hub here in Jefferson County. We started this, Bob and I started this many, many years ago, and Faith and Stuart and Dee. A lot of people in the room here were on the board and very supportive of that effort. We aggregated and distributed for a couple of years and found that the sales volume, by staying hyper-local, was not adequate. Our largest customer was the university, who requires organic and prefers regenerative organic. That went reasonably well. I won't go into the weeds on that, but those of you who know food systems know how challenging this work is. And so that was in late 2014, 2015, 2016 that we aggregated and distributed. And since that time, after the second year, I made the call to pause. I could see that the growth was not adequate in the second year. And I've been focusing on farm viability, local food coordination, and value chain work here and around the state. So I work with a lot of different organizations around the state, with Tony and the Food Advantages Working Group. I work in the Iowa Food Systems Coalition with Bob and many, many others. Gil, who's online, in the Education and Communication Group. And I would say that what I want out of this meeting and what I would like to see for the future in our area is really nailing down the farm viability component of this, because it is the most challenging part. And I envision more of a cooperative kind of farm structure that will bring together these many, many small farmers that Tony spoke about, shared equipment, shared resources, shared knowledge, and then the farmer training component of that, I feel, is really critical for success. Because if we don't have success, there's no way we're going to deliver produce to Kyle and Brett or anyone else in our community. So the farming component of this is my deep passion, my deep interest, that we're growing healthy, clean food, and that it's like that triple bottom line, that we're serving our people, our community, we're doing it in a very viable way, and that everyone's in as a part of the system, including the environment.
Thank you, Barb. Tommy?
I think I better stand up, the owl isn't gonna see me. My name is Tom Brooks. I'm the Vice President of Operations of MIU, Marshall International University, which is a whopping 4 blocks from here. I oversee, one of the areas I oversee is the university's food service, and we are serving about 1,000 organic meals a day to our student, staff, and faculty. And we are committed to that, but we are having trouble finding more and more local food. And so I think that's our goal, is to transition more and more to not only organic, but local, regenerative organic. And we see this as the place to come and work with you to try to figure something out.
All right, thank you.
I'm on deck. Joe Ledger. I'm a native of Jefferson County, been here all my life, and I'm here to eternity because we have a plot out at Evergreen Cemetery.
There you go, again, right here, that's forever, right?
I farmed all my life. 3 years ago, I retired. I put in 49 crop years farming. Retired 3 years ago and started volunteering and getting on boards. And when I get up in the morning, one of the first things my wife asks me is, what time and what meeting today? And last fall, I was elected to the County Board of Supervisors here in the county, so I guess I'll be around for a while. And Bob invited me to come today, and so I decided to see what's going on. So thank you for the invite.
Thank you for being here, Joe.
Galen Satterley, I work for my family's e-commerce business, Breadtopia. We teach people how to bake, mill flour at home, and through online YouTube videos and customer service call-ins and kind of helping people with baking at home. We have our own flour mill, and the last several years we've been trying to connect with local farmers to grow wheat again in Iowa. And in that process, it's been a large learning curve for us because we realize that there's not any processing of grain in the area because we don't necessarily grow wheat. So in that, we keep looking for more processors, and now we're just becoming our own processor. So, you know, we've gotten a grain cleaner in the last year, and now I came up against, I needed a huller, so, because that was the next step. And so beyond that, we're gonna keep graduating our equipment and our processing so that we can buy locally and process the grains and then sell that to our customers and on the coasts. And in also doing that, we teach people how to use sourdough. During the pandemic, we were very fortunate. We were one, not many people were fortunate, but we were. And so we put our profits back into our building that is we call it the Collective, and it is a small food manufacturing incubator. And right now we've got 8 commercial kitchens and 4 different producers, kombucha, gluten-free bakery, and taco dreams, which you're gonna have for lunch, and the pastries, which you're maybe having this morning. So,
Yes.
and in doing that, we promote the building of these small businesses and hopefully help them graduate out of our facility into a larger facility and then move the next small business in. And in doing that, we ended up, because why not, just opening a bakery. And and so in opening the bakery, we specialize in sourdough because it's beneficial for your health, and as well as whole grains. And now we're trying to grow that business into a distribution, not just in our small town, but out into the greater local food markets. And that's what Michael's helping me, so here you go.
A round of applause for Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely. Galen, can you just, because it's like, it found you,
Nah,
but it found this guy's.
Nah, it's all
okay.
right.
It's not finding you, yeah, the aloe is pretty clever, right?
Okay, I'm Michael Lesniak, I grew up here, and I came back, really in 2022. I grew up here and I spent half my life in Korea. And I came back in 2022 on a leave of absence, really trying to understand, you know, what is going on, because the environment seems to be getting worse and good healthy food seems to be harder to come by. And so I really want to see, like, how can I bring my experience to help the Midwest through Iowa. And I feel like, you know, Fairfield has had this really wonderful community as a nexus of good intentioned, really talented, and execution-focused people. So I thought this would be great. Good thing I'm from here. So I took a leave of absence last year, and just trying to take that for as long as possible, so I can help find ways to bring investment to this area, help companies, for example, coming out of incubators like Galen's, and then also bring in technology from East Asia, and then also try to find markets for food that can be grown here, other than, I think corn and soy too, but other than corn and soy. So like, how do we get, you know, additional, like how do we get markets for additional crops, right? If we need to have crop rotations, and wheat could be one of them, but lots of things are possible. And so, yeah, so I'm trying to do that, and that's me, I guess. So it's a little bit of accolades, so it sounds, I'm not just a guy wearing a Gucci scarf. So like I work, so I'm a leave of absence from the second largest conglomerate in Korea. In addition to technology, we have the second largest semiconductor manufacturer in the world. And we have massive logistics infrastructure company as well, called SEI Networks. So we've done a lot of interesting things, and I've had exposure to lots of different markets. When we launched 5G, first in the world, I did several $100 million in business for IoT, AI, and mixed reality. And before taking a leave of absence, I helped launch the Global AI Alliance with Global Telco AI Alliance with SK Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, Singtel, and Docomo. So done a lot of interesting things, but how do we make this relevant to the local level? And then how do we take emerging technologies to help make everyone here successful? Things like training farmers would be a huge one, right? Lowering that barrier to entry so that people really know how to do these things, and we can get more people to do it. I mean, obviously there's lots of cool robotic startups out there, but we need farmers, not micro drones. Yeah, so anyway, so that's me. And I'm really excited to be here. I've been doing a lot of interesting stuff with Galen and with Bob, my partner in crime here, and hopefully we'll make some impact in the coming months and years. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Favorite son, return. Okay, so Steve, how about you?
I'm Steve McClaskey. Fairfield's been my home for 30, 40 years. I teach in the regenerative organic agriculture program. I've been with MIU doing farming in one way or another for a long time. Worked with Chris on the regenerative organic agriculture education program at MIU, training the next generation of farmers. Jonathan's one of our graduates.
Great. Well, thank you.
He feeds us every weekend. Yes. Farmer market.
Farmer market, yeah. Steve is one of our great assets in our area. Okay, so Dee, how about you?
DC and Quest. I wear a lot of different hats, and I have pretty much my whole professional life has been spent with food and nutrition in one capacity or another. I'm a retired Hy-Vee dietitian. Before I did that, I was in health and wellness and healthcare most of my career, in small to large hospital systems. Born here, lived away for a while, moved back in 2008, and we have a family farm. Chris is my nephew over there, and that's how I spend when we show up at the same meetings. So, it's fun to see what he's doing on the land that I grew up on. Literally, that's where I learned to drive a tractor. So, go way back. So I am a family farmer. My husband and I raise pigs for Nyman Ranch. So in that role, I'm a farmer ambassador. And it's one of my favorite things I get to do is go talk to chefs and tell them where food comes from. And it's so much fun when I go in there, they'll be like, oh, I have 2 minutes, because they're busy. Well, 20 minutes later, we're still talking about pigs. And so I have this little book I take with me of pictures of our pigs. And so they just start asking questions about that. So it's really fun being part of the Nyman Ranch network. It's like a big family. I also, the one thing I think I can help bring to this group, and it'd be is how consumers think. Because pretty much, as a registered dietitian previously, the barriers to why do people not just eat the food the farmers raise. You really have to drill down to that and see how it can become easier for them. So I always consider that it's just because you grow it doesn't mean they'll eat it. So,
thank you for
I'm here
being
to
here.
be, and almost former county supervisor.
We got
Sorry.
That's a little family thing we have going on in the county here.
So now,
Right, there you go, there's the upside.
You're silver lining.
She's helped me a lot.
Close, but so
Yeah.
far.
no, I'm trying to
Now you're training him, right?
Yeah.
educate him.
He's doing a good job of it.
All right, so Joe?
Hi, I'm Joe Klingelhutz. I live in Iowa City. I wear a couple hats as well. My primary hat today is working for the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust. I've been working for SILT for the last 6 years. I worked for them full-time between 2018 and 2022, and now I'm doing part-time work for them. I helped with a couple land protection projects in the area, including the former Sustainable Living Coalition conservation easement, the Anderson Prairie Farm where Sarah and Jim Anderson, the late Jim Anderson lived, and then we also have a new farm near Ottumwa called the Nut Farm that we just got donated to us, so I've been part of those projects. But SILT has 16 farms across the state, totaling over 1,200 acres of protected land, either with conservation easements or land that has been donated to SILT. And I'm looking to do more work in the Fairfield area. We have money in a budget specifically for me to work with landowners in the Fairfield area and surrounding counties to protect land with conservation easements, and those conservation easements will necessitate the use of the land as sustainable food farms, so and lower the monetary value of the land, creating land access for beginning farmers. And what I hear from beginning farmers who are trying to grow food is land access is one of the primary issues and barriers for having a successful business, because land prices are just so incredibly high. So that is how we're using conservation easements and long-term leases to create unique opportunities for land access. I also work for the Practical Farmers of Iowa as a farmland access navigator under a beginning farmer and rancher development grant, working with the beginning farmers who are looking for land. And I'm also a farmer myself and I've been working on vegetable farms for the last 6 years and run a small beekeeping operation, so that's me.
Great job. Glad you're here. Beth?
Nope, there's another.
Hey, Nick, you hiding back there.
Hidden back here. Hi guys, I'm Nick Campney. I have a small farm. We're trying to navigate from being a small farm into a mid-sized farm and grow specialty crops like garlic and butternut squash, Swiss chard, onions, things like that. That try to meet a place where we can grow at a fairly large scale without too much intense labor. So we're trying to find that medium spot, and we're trying to grow through it. So
What size is that when you say small and medium?
yeah, so right now we have 4 acres, and we have we put in a bunch of perennials, and we got sheep, and worked on this small scale, and it made a lot of tasty food, and it was really delicious. But you know, having 30-some different varieties that you tend to wasn't very. It was great for a home, base, but it didn't really scale up. It didn't look like it was gonna scale up. If it was gonna scale up, it was gonna take like 6 of me. So, we've grown outside our fence line, and we were grazing outside our fence. We just put in, about 2/3 of an acre of garlic that's, on adjacent land, and we're working on buying 60 acres to put us into the range of where we'd like to be, with about 10 acres of vegetable produce that's rotating through on about 20 acres that would have cover crops on it and some animal to, really build that system in the soil health. And that's where we think there's like a financial viability to it, and it's just getting there. It's kind of a tough stage to grow through that. But we're close. And I think this is my personal passion, and this is that it's probably shared with all of you, is that there's something better we can be doing. Not that all of the landscape of Iowa is like being mismanaged, but there's ways to improve on what Iowa landscape looks like. And it improves our health and it improves our water quality. And this meeting here, to me, is like just a baby step. You know, this is not like a 1-year project. This is like, what does this look like in 10 to 25 years? And then we're like really talking, okay, and we're doing a little bit of work now, and we're all trying to like imagine something better, and then when we do it together, you know, we can do something greater.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm Beth Hoffman, and I'm gonna use the analogy of shoes. I wear many different pairs of shoes, too many hats in the room. So I am a journalist and reporter by training. I wrote the book Bet the Farm, The Dollars and Cents of Growing Food in America. It's too long of a title. If you write a book, make your title. I write on Substack with the Iowa Writers Collaborative. I write In the Dirt. We also farm 570 acres closer to Albia, north of Albia. And we took that land, and it was corn and bean land, and now we are raising grass-finished beef, goats, some vegetables. We have an educational facility where we teach. My husband grew up on that farm, then went to culinary school and was a chef and a wine buyer and a butcher in San Francisco, so we teach culinary classes, we teach writing classes there. We have some new farmers that are working with us on our land because we're trying to get many more. We feel like the amount of land that we have the privilege to farm, it should not just be for us. So we have, actually Joe found us a great farmer that moved here from Colorado. He's interested in small grains. So he's been starting to do some of that. We have a team of African farmers who came and worked with us last year who will be back and hopefully growing, they want to grow some vegetables. I helped write the Iowa Food Systems Coalition, Setting the Table for All Iowans, and served there with the communications and education. I'm a board member at the Iowa Farmers Union. I consult with a AI group about farm education. It's supposed to be there. It's Numinac, the new almanac, to find information for farmers. I'm part of a beef study with the Bionutrient Institute. And like Faith said, I think that we have the potential here of growing not just the most, not being the state known for the most, but for the best. We have amazing soil, abundant water, and as California is on fire and dealing with droughts, somebody has to take the role of being the next food basket, not just the corn basket of the country. That could be us.
Oh, thank you, Beth. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Copel. I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin, and my oldest sister and parents still farm about 500 cows up there. I went to school for biological systems engineering and got really interested in trying to make our lakes and streams blue again across the Midwest. And I was frustrated. I was working in an engineering company, and we could work on a couple farms at a time, putting in field, edge of field practices, right? And that would slow the water down, but it doesn't solve the problem. And then I read a book called Growing Revolution, and I learned about how cover crops plus no-till equals regenerative, plus a lot of other things, this whole system approach, but you can make the water infiltrate the soil and clean itself in the field, and then doesn't run off, right? And when we don't have floods, if you can do that. So anyway, about 15 years ago, I got really interested in that, and also nutrient-dense food. I don't know why, but I've been studying it ever since. And so my wife is from here originally, so 6 years ago we moved here and bought a farm. Been building a farm since then, so I'm farming about 40 acres of oats, soybeans, sunflowers, making chicken feed, having fun, and with the intent that I can learn about regenerative by doing it and then help other farmers transition, right? So, and also create a pathway for small farms to be profitable again. So then I've been hanging out with Bob and Faith and others at the CoLab downtown, and hence I'm here, but
And the reason I'm able to do all that is I work at John Deere, manage the software team, and we take all the software off our equipment and make it run in the cloud for dealers to use for support and training.
Great, thank you.
I'll stand up too so I can see the other side of the room. My name is Stuart Valentine, and hey Troy, we're sitting here in the Fairfield Glove Factory. We got demand for shoes and more hats.
And more hats. He's got mugs out there,
Primary manufacturing.
hats right here.
Anyway, I'm woven into this community a lot through my nonprofit work with Sustainable Iowa Land Trust of Brianna and Joe and Mary Ellen, and also I chair the Sustainable Living Board, and Bob, of course, former executive director, is intimately involved with SLC's mission, which is enhancing local food systems. So here we are. We've been on that trajectory for almost a decade now. And it's just really fulfilling to see this room and Bob, your efforts in pulling that idea into action. So thank you very much. On the professional side, for 37 years, I've been in the financial services world. I've been financial planning, investment management, but leaning hard into the growing green economy. And the core elements of that economy are energy and agriculture. Boom. So my interest is trying to figure out how to organize the capital, financial capital, to come into viable businesses that support enhanced local food systems. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Sir, I'm gonna give you a round of applause. Whenever I need money. I said, Stuart.
Hey.
So if you need money, just say, Dr. Stuart.
It's true,
We will figure out.
Yeah, we will. Charles.
Okay, I'll stand up too. I'm Charles Heide, and it's a pleasure to be here, part of this group. Born and raised in Wisconsin, right on the Illinois-Kenosha border. Now, unlike most of you in this room, I have been non-agri my whole professional career. I've been manufacturing, been aviation related. However, I inherited 2 farms, and it's been an honor for me to inherit those, but we're right on the I-94 corridor. So our primary corridor on I-94 is data centers, warehouse distribution, solar farms, and other non-agri uses of the land. We're in the 21st century, we've got to figure it out. These are essential investments. The 2 farms I own are called the secondary corridor they're sub 200 acres, but they're very high in environmental assets. So when I think of the farm, I think Remnant Prairie, Oak Savanna opening, wetland. I don't think corn, beans, and wheat. So with that background, when I talk to my land plant, my operators, I was just very frustrated. I had no idea how to communicate to those operators. They were conventionals. Thus, my investigation led me to Ron Dutch in 2017, 2018, and I've started a journey with him on how to be a better ambassador to talk to our farming operators. And so I think my role and what I want to take out of this is to be a better communicator and show other landowners how to be more integrated with their farm operators. My origin story, again, on the manufacturing, Granddad came here from Denmark during the century, worked in Kenosha at the National Automobile plant. He started as a tool and die maker, worked his way up to the plant superintendent position, and then during World War II, he was assigned by the War Production Board to go to Minneapolis and convert the Minneapolis-St. Paul Fairgrounds to produce hollow steel propellers. So if you think about all those interactions on how to change an economic system, in a sense, we're doing the same thing here. So I think our success is to think about our history and just come up with new inventive ways to collaborate. And there's always that competitive, it's a market-based economy, we've got to drive the price to a price point the customer accepts. But I think we're going to have some major discoveries along the way this week will cover.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Round of applause for everyone for being here. The most, very important person here.
So, I'm just here wearing one hat, and that is that I'm on the board of the Fairfield Farmers Market. And I'm just here to listen more than talk. Everyone else has a lot to say, and I'm just here to listen.
She does.
Deanna also works with Faith and myself and Jonathan. We're creating a food plan, a 10-year food plan, a local food plan for Jefferson County. So she's been very involved in that with us and a great contributor.
Is that a public document?
In the near future, it will be.
All right, well, we need a little bit of a break. Let's take a little 5-minute, just walk around, go to the bathroom, grab coffee, grab juice, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes. Just quick up and down.